What's up, everybody? Alex here from Columbus. Welcome back to another video. It's been a minute, and so I wanted to do a little bit of a throwback in reference to a video that I made, I guess almost a couple years ago now. So, welcome to the video. I'm going to talk about it's actually six, underrated, underappreciated, classic live albums. Records. So one of the first videos I ever did when I started my YouTube channel several years ago was, 5 classic, underrated, underappreciated live albums. And I remember it was the first video I did that did like semi-well, relatively speaking. And so really the whole point of this is that I want to do 5 more. Okay, so there's a gazillion amazing live albums out there, right? I think I love the live album. I know some people might not, but specifically what I'm talking about here are some classics. So all of these, I believe, are from the 70s? Yes, I guess so. Okay, all of these are from the 70s. And my sort of criteria with this is that I try not to make it like the obvious ones, right? Like, everybody loves Made in Japan. Everybody loves Fillmore East. There's so many of these classic, amazing live albums that have been talked about to death, and for good reason, because they're outstanding and amazing. I want to talk about some records that I don't feel that people talk about enough, or bands that people don't talk about enough, where I feel that the live record just perfectly encapsulates their career in an outstanding way. So I pulled technically 6 records, but we're going to say it's 5 in the title. So these are 5 more classic, underrated, underappreciated live albums. My other sort of criteria with this is that they have to be readily accessible and readily affordable. So most of these, and I'll kind of mention it when I go through there, most of these are sometimes they're in dollar bins. Sometimes they're a $10 record or a $15 record. There's only really one in here that I'll show that's a little bit more difficult to find, but reissues are readily available in print for $25, $30. So that's actually what I'm going to start off with first. And this, to me, this is an artist that I really appreciate in a genre that I don't really appreciate. And that is that sort of classic country Americana sort of thing, and I have found a great relationship with the late great Townes Van Zandt, and so the first record I'm going to talk about or show is Townes Van Zandt live at the Old Quarter, Houston, Texas. This, I believe, was released in 77, although I believe recorded in 74 at the Old Quarter in Houston, Texas. You can feel the heat kind of coming from this show. I believe the AC was like broken or something. So, and Houston is like one of the hottest cities in the entire world. Okay, so I won't go crazy into Townes Van Zandt because I kind of want to make this like a shorter, more accessible video. But I don't know. I've just always connected more with Townes. He was so dark. His writing was so depressing. I mean, his life was dark and depressing, which is relatable. And so, I don't know. I've just always found myself really gravitating towards him. And I listen to his studio records, and I like them. But I love this. This is one of the references, and I'll make this reference a lot. This, to me, the tracks on here are the definitive versions of all the major songs for me. It's just him in a bar with his guitar, and that's it. Nothing else is going on. And to me, like, it's so just intimate and perfect. I mean, you can hear the tables and glasses clanking. You can hear, you got the announcement in the beginning where they're talking about, whatever, pool tables are upstairs, and, the cigarettes are, whatever, vending machines are upstairs, and all this kind of stuff. And so this is part of, I think, a series of 5 nights or something like that he did at the Old Quarter. But to me, again, in that classic sort of country, I'm not the biggest Johnny Cash fan. I'm not the biggest Willie fan. I got nothing against those people. They're just not, they don't speak to me, right? Like, but for some reason, Townes does. And to me, this is like, I don't need a studio record. I don't know if y'all do either. This, to me, is the definitive collection, what you need if you're going to be a Townes Van Zandt fan. Now, this is, again, kind of the asterisk. We're going to call this number 6 because originals of this are hard to find. They're expensive, but this is readily in print available, I think for like $30 or something, US. Forgot to point that out there for international viewers. These are US pressings, but yeah, so there you go. Vinyl Me Please, they did an edition of this, but again, this is readily in print. And I think this was, lacquers were cut by Ryan K. Smith, so it sounds amazing. And yeah, so Townes Van Zandt, live at the Old Quarter, amazing. So here's a band that I hear nobody talk about, and for probably good reason, right? Like I think they kind of fell into one-hit wonder world out of the state of Illinois, and sort of, I think, fell into that whole timing of mid-late 70s, kind of AOR, hard rock, Midwest rock, whatever you want to call it, that just didn't seem very sexy. I can't imagine that this was much of anything outside of the U.S. In fact, it wasn't much out inside the U.S., but this was a band, I got this record, and I threw it on, and I was like, this is an amazing live album. Holy shit. I think more people need to find this. And the band is Head East, and it's Head East Live. This was released in 1979. Head East was a band, or is a band, out of Illinois, central Illinois. At that. Now, you might know Head East. First of all, we can just talk about how terrible the album cover is. But you probably will know Head East because, again, a lot of people would associate them with like a one-hit wonder because of the song There's Never Been Any Reason. Save My Life. Save my life, I'm going down for the last time. It has that brutal synth bit that comes in. You know the one. And so I think a lot of people were like, are these guys just like a Styx, Kansas, Dollar General, Kansas sort of thing? And I get it. Like, a lot of this music, I'll talk about a little bit more, was not sexy for a lot of people. But this is a great fucking hard rock, awesome record. The songwriting is actually incredible. The guitar playing is out of control. Great hooks, great performances all the way around. And this, again, in the States, I'm sure outside of the States it's fine too. I mean, this is like a $5 record, if that. But to me, I don't have any other Head East records. I'm sure they're great. I've heard them. I like them. But to me, I'm like, no, man, give me the live Head East. It captures the energy. It is more of like the greatest hits sort of thing. Just an amazing show all the way around. And so, yeah, Head East live. Check it out. Pick this up if you're into just awesome mid-late 70s hard rock, melodic rock, great stuff. Let's go to Ireland here. Northern Ireland? Shoot, I should know. Regardless, he's Irish, and arguably the most influential, best Irish guitarist of all time. I mean, you could put maybe a handful of people in that category, but I'm going to go with Rory Gallagher, Irish Tour 1974. This, to me, I'm a big fan of Rory Gallagher. I listen to Irish people when they're pronouncing Irish names, and Irish people pronounce it Gallagher. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyways, I have a handful of Rory Gallagher records, and they're amazing. I mean, he's just outstanding, incredible blues player, but also just hard rock player as well. And to me, though, this is the record. I think, he's the type of player that is difficult to capture the magic in the studio and is best performed, live for sure. So, another sort of part of this video is, if you don't know these artists, or maybe you've heard of these artists and you don't know where to start, a great place to start is with these live records. So, yeah, he's just ripping and burning all over this record. For sure. What was this on? I know, for label people, Polydor. Again, incredible, heavy blues, just amazing stuff from Rory. And, that's where I would start, and it's an incredible record. All right, let's go back to Illinois, because this is sort of in that same family, I guess, of when I was showing the Head East record, right? This is a band that had been around for a while, and then they sort of blew up in the 80s with a lot of mega popular FM, saccharine type pop hits. And they got really popular, and then went like quintuple platinum and all that type of stuff, which is amazing. But the reality is before that, they were a really good hard rock band from Illinois. And so I'm going to show this record here. It's Ario Speedwagon live. Yes, again, if all you know from Ario Speedwagon is, can't fight this feeling and take it on the run and all type of stuff, hey, I got no problem with that. Like, I'm a sucker for just good melodic AOR, 80s sort of pop as well, pop rock. But, Ario Speedwagon had been around since the early 70s. And in fact, their first, you got to think, High Infidelity was what? Like, their 8th or 9th record? They had been around for a long time before they sort of, broke big or whatever. But this, to me, is the place to start. This is an outstanding, energetic, awesome, kind of bluesy, boogie, hard rock, amazing record. Over the years, Kevin Cronin sort of got a lot of the attention, obviously, as the front man and lead singer. But this record, for sure, and especially those, 8 Ario Speedwagon records, were all about the guitarist Gary Rick Rack. Just amazing, incredible player. He's just ripping and burning. Now, this record became their highest selling record up to that point because of, a lot of it was, the version of Riding the Storm Out that you hear comes from this record. You rarely, if ever, hear the studio version of Riding the Storm Out. That is one of those songs that the live cut that came from this record is the one that everybody knows. And it absolutely smokes. So, yeah, there's some great stuff on here. 157 Riverside Avenue. What a fucking boogie banger that is. Riding the Storm Out, obviously. Keep Pushing has opened up their set for a long time, I feel like. But, yeah, some people like to poo-poo on Ario Speedwagon. Hey, to each their own, but their first several records were just hard rock, bluesy rock, and just amazing Midwest rock and roll. And this live record captures it. And again, this is like a $5 record, if that. So, let's go to England. This is a record that's sort of on the cusp because it's not underrated or underappreciated by the people who know about it, right? But if you don't know about it, that's what we're here for, is to get you to know about it. So, UK band that sort of falls into good hard rock, maybe a little bit of folk rock here and there, some background in a little bit of jazz, and sometimes they'll roll in a little bit of progressive rock. But the band is Wishbone Ash, and the record is Live Dates. This was sort of released right after their 4th record, Wishbone 4. If you don't know Wishbone Ash, and the big thing that they've been sort of credited with is sort of, I guess, call it inventing, popularizing, whatever you want to call it, the sort of dual lead guitar attack that had been popularized years later by the likes of Thin Lizzy and Iron Maiden and Def Leppard and a lot of these other sort of bands. These cats were doing it early and often and in a much different way. Obviously their influence is huge with those bands, but here again, you're talking this really cool blend of, I'm not going to call Wishbone Ash a prog band. There are certainly progressive elements. There's really long songs, there's jams, there's intricate arrangements, but this is all about the dueling lead guitar work. If you don't know Wishbone Ash, the studio album that is sort of amazing that everybody loves, that I agree with, is Argus. That's outstanding. But, and they play plenty from Argus on this record, but they have a lot of other really great stuff too. And I think, again, like, they're a band that is best sort of encompassed live. So, shout out to my boy Steve at A is for Alice. B is for Bob. I know this is like one of his top 5 live records of all time. So it's not underrated and underappreciated for him. And again, probably not for the people in the know. But if you don't know Wishbone Ash and you're looking for something a little bit different, man, what a great record this is. Got the inner. Hardly new. Okay. A great record. Live Dates from Wishbone Ash. And here's the last one. I'm calling it underrated, underappreciated, because these cats don't get enough love, and they should. Because I'm a fan of just weird, fun, quirky, brilliant music. And the funny thing about that is that typically does not sell well. And that's why you have underrated, underappreciated live records. And I think this came out in 77, right after their 3rd record, maybe. But it is The Tubes. What do you want from live? I love The Tubes. I wish more people talked about The Tubes. I mean, they sort of they're one of these interesting bands that people know their first record because of Punks on or White Punks on Dope, and then they know when they came back and with a big commercial hit in the '80s with She's a Beauty, right? Which is great. They had some other big '80s hits, but all of those records between '75 and like '83 or whenever it was are great, and this falls right in the middle in 1977. The Tubes were San Francisco band, super artsy, super musical, a little bit goofy, or a lot of bit goofy, but incredible, brilliant artists. And I just thinking, again, it's on this, like, I think it's super proggy. I mean, you look at some of the sets or some of the tracks on here. Oh no, we got water damage. No! About to open that gatefold, but it's a little bit stuck. I'm sorry. But man, I mean, this is a great record. And again, if you're trying to get into the Tubes, it's a great place to do it. For those fun label people out there, this is a white label promo. But if you don't know, I was going to hold this way so you can read it, but it actually sits like this. It's bizarre. If you don't know the Tubes or you're not familiar with them, you wonder where to start, man, check out their live record. It's awesome. I love it. And then check out all their other records, because all those are brilliant too. So, all right, there you go, people. Tried to keep it short-ish. We're up to 16 minutes. 5/6 underrated, underappreciated classic live records. There you go. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you know these records, if you like these records, or what other live records that you think are underrated, underappreciated, and that we need to talk about more. Because I'm tired of talking about the same old stuff all the time. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day, week, life. See you on the next one. Cheers.